So anyways, let's get right to it. So Jordan was asked, I want to say a week or two ago, to go on the Jim Jefferies show on Comedy Central. And those of you who have been following me and following Pizzagate know that actually the entire mainstream media, every single network is involved in covering up Pizzagate and Pedogate, and they're involved in, you know, mocking people that expose this and mocking Pizzagate and, you know, calling anyone that exposes this a conspiracy theorist, blah, 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 blah. And Comedy Central's bad. Comedy Central has definitely covered up Pizzagate and called it a conspiracy theory and, you know, mocked us truthers and researchers. So anyways, so Jordan was asked to go on the Jim Jefferies show, and I encouraged him to go on it because I think that even when these mainstream media outlets try to make us look stupid and discredit us, and they do it to President Trump constantly all the time, what I've learned is that it usually always backfires on them. Jordan's a really smart guy and can handle himself, so I knew it would be most likely a good thing for him to go on Comedy Central, and so he did, and he taped the segment, and it hasn't aired yet, so I mean, we'll see how they edit it, but it sounded like it went really well. So anyways, but Jordan did a video talking about this, and he's getting so much slack, and so many people are accusing him of being a shill for going on Comedy Central, and, you know, he did a great job, and, you know, even if they try to edit it to make him look stupid, I think that it's going to backfire.
So I dove deep into the rabbit hole to talk to 4 prominent QAnon researchers, including one who has 140,000 YouTube subscribers and millions of views.
What is QAnon?
QAnon is basically a shadow civil war between rogue intelligence agencies and good guys, for lack of a better term.
Do we all agree on this? This exists?
QAnon 100%.
100%?
Yes. Oh yeah.
100%. Q's a guy that's on the internet.
Not a guy.
Not a guy.
It's a group. The people that have the full scope of the picture is less than 10. We shouldn't be caught up on who is Q, it's more of what is it.
He says that because what's about to be revealed is that QAnon is actually JFK Jr. So JFK Jr. is alive, and he brought the plan to Donald pre-1999.
Is Q more powerful than Trump?
Trump is a part of the Q team, so he's
just part of the team.
Yeah, he's actually posted at least once or twice, at least twice, and he's signed it.
We don't know that.
Well, we do know that because when it's signed as 4/10/20, that's Donald J. Trump. But you got to understand numerology to know that. There was a tweet where everything in the tweet is just regular verbiage, regular grammar, but he has the word roaring, the word great, and the word reviews all in caps. You look up the numerology behind those words, and it comes out to the number 17.
What does the number 17 mean?
Q.
And it's saving us from what? An elite satanic pedophile ring?
One of the aspects of corruption they are working to dismantle is human trafficking rings, yes. Remember when Trump was on stage and he grabbed the Fiji water? Fiji is one of the biggest human trafficking areas on the planet.
What big profile people are in this pedophile ring?
Do you want names?
Sure.
Hillary Clinton.
You think Hillary Clinton's a pedophile?
Worse.
What's worse than a pedophile?
Human sacrifice, child sacrifice, newborn babies. There's something in their blood that apparently gives them some euphoric experience.
It's called adrenochrome. It acts as a drug, essentially.
Where do they get the babies from?
Haiti.
A lot of these babies are bred specifically for that purpose.
Give me 5 names of big names that are going down.
Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, John McCain, George Bush, and
Obama. James
Obama.
Comey.
What real evidence is there to support any of these claims?
what claims?
I was just to pull up a picture of JFK's burial site. It's the shape of a Q.
Pizza, walnut sauce, Domino's. There's various food language that is used for code words in pedophile.
The Queen of England was accused of being a shapeshifter by Putin.
Thousands of people saw the Queen of England turn into her true form.
Wouldn't you love to find out that cancer can be cured?
Do you think the government's holding back a cancer?
I've seen it done.
There's going to be an order allowing elected officials to be court-martialed. Have you heard of this at all, Jordan?
I haven't heard about it at all.
No. Okay, so we'll have to look into this.
Lizard people.
Not like
I haven't seen anything crazy. I've felt energy, but not seen it.
Define lizard people.
It's one thing to listen to what these conspiracy theorists think about the world, but it's entirely another that they elected one of their own to run it. And that should make even the most rational of us paranoid as f***.
Do any of you think that anything that you have heard today is crazy?
Yes.
Wouldn't you love to find out that cancer can be cured?
Do you think the government's holding back a cancer?
I've seen it done.
I was a gifted child born into a very standard family. By standard, I mean the idea was that you go to school, you get good grades, you get a job, go to college, get a degree, get your 9 to 5, take your vaccines, eat your Cheerios, this kind of standard. But getting into high school, things changed a little bit. Now, when I got into high school, I got a little bit more into sports. I played soccer, and that was the sport that I started playing. And then I also found a lot of friends. So naturally, I started just giving less energy into my studies. And my 4.0 ended up being about a 3.2, and then ended up having a 2.8 when I graduated high school. So what I really wanted to do was not in my vision. I couldn't go to the Air Force Academy and be a pilot with grades like that. That's what I really wanted to do, is go to the Air Force Academy. Glad I didn't do it, needless to say. And the other option was state college. So being the standard boy, standard family, I went to that state college. And I went there for construction management. I studied architecture. A lot of people ask me that. What'd you study? Construction? No, it's weird. So from there, I started just going full bore into every single little bit of information that I could get my hands on. And this was in end of 2011, early 2012. I started just going on the internet and onto YouTube and typing in these keywords and coming across information. I remember being in one of my community college classes, and there was a computer at every station, and here they were studying, I don't remember what class it was, biology, chemistry, or something like that. Here I was studying Rothschilds, and chemtrails, and bloodline families, and stuff like that. I was like, you don't get, like, this is what, and they wouldn't get it, but here I was, educating myself about reality. And at the very end of 2011, beginning of 2012, I came across so much information that I'm very grateful that I came across, because it was really the deepest of the deep. And I ended up finally dropping out of that community college about a year and a half into it at the beginning of 2012, and just going full bore into working at this health food store. And I had many life-changing experiences at this place. Because like I said, it wasn't a slow store, it was a very busy store, and not only was it busy, but we had access to some of the most life-changing alternative medicines that I could imagine. Like I mentioned, the Gerson therapy earlier. We had books on the Gerson therapy, and we had a guy working in the back who was an ex-surgeon, basically, surgery tech. He was about to be a surgeon, but he had some head trauma that knocked him out of the medical field, so he started doing IT. He was doing IT for us, but healing people with the Gerson therapy on the underground. So some experiences I saw, I mean, he would talk to people, and I would see stage 4 cancers cured with the Gerson therapy. A woman came in, she was 28, 29 years old one day. I was about 21, 2012-ish. And she was, like I said, late 20s. She said she had stage 4 cancer. Started in the ovaries, metastasized to her lungs, brain, pretty much everywhere. And the doctor said, if we don't take your ovaries out, you're gonna die. Her life goal was to have kids. It was a military area I grew up. She was a Navy wife, and she wanted that life for herself. Her life goal was to have kids, and here the doctor was telling her, you're never gonna be able to, because we're gonna take your ovaries out. Anyway, she proceeded to do the Gerson therapy. She was convinced to do it. She went in for MRI scans once a month, just for the tests. Doctors called her crazy, but she was adamant about it. And proceeded to, within about 6 to 9 months, she was doing the Gerson therapy. She did another thing called MMS, the Miracle Mineral Supplement. If you're familiar with that, please look into it. It's very cheap, very effective at detoxifying, cleansing not only your environment, but your internal environment as well. So she did these two things. 6 to 9 months later, cancer was gone. So when I was 21, I saw experiences like this.
Do you know what exactly you're talking about when we are talking detoxifying? The Gerson therapy, and this was one of my father's, I believe, one of his greatest contributions to medicine, is not only to understand the problem of toxicity, but how to deal with it and how to defeat it and detoxify. It's not new. It's already described in the Dead Sea Scrolls, supposedly Jesus talking, how to do an enema. Supposedly Jesus talking, how to do an enema. But that has to be done, and Dr. Gerson found that out too, with a caffeine compound and a potassium compound that is most readily available in coffee. So in order to open up the bile ducts, one uses not coffee by mouth, it does the opposite. It's all been tested, but coffee rectally, and that's called a coffee enema. That's the way to detoxify, with coffee enemas. The pain disappears, whether it's a headache or a toe ache. And people don't understand what a coffee enema can have to do with a head or with a toe. But once you understand, it's really very simple. But it is so active that especially in cancer patients, it's released so rapidly, we have to give 5 enemas a day. Like one every 4 hours. And it works. And patients feel better. And they're in terminal condition, and they come depressed and miserable and in pain and with drugs, and they can't eat, and they're nauseated. You should see them 3 days later. The pain is gone, the nausea is gone, the body is functioning, they are positive again, they are outlooking again, they are planning for the future again. When they were told by the doctor they have 2 months or 3 months or something like that. And they're different people. And it works.
Wouldn't you love to find out that cancer can be cured?
Do you think the government's holding back a cancer?
I've seen it done.
And we had first therapy books, we had the MMS, we had another supplement there I do want to talk about because of how much it changed my life, and that is this one. It's called PC3 by a company, Maxim Nutraceutics. And I was selling that stuff. What it does, it's a spray you put on your tongue, gets right into your body sublingually, it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and it's probably the most effective form of cleansing of heavy metal cellular detoxification that you'll ever do in your life. Problem is that company doesn't exist anymore. Company was out of Hood River. The people I worked for had connections to them, so we were selling it. But in 2012, they got raided by the FDA. About 40 SWAT team members went into their offices in Hood River and actually raided the owner's house in California too. Stole about $2 million worth of products and computers and technology and whatnot, and didn't give it back to him. That was in 2012. Legal process ensued. 2015, they were litigated out of commission. Company had to fold. There were multiple families that came in with autistic children and recommended that to them. I don't know how many times they came back to me and said, "Thank you. You know, this is the only thing that's ever got my neuropathy to go away. This is the only 4 days. Woman with fibro, 4 days of that, and it's gone. She couldn't even, no pains, no nothing, no brain fog from the fibro anymore." So people started coming into me and calling me doctor. And for me at that point, you know, it was really hard actually, because the reason they were calling me doctor is because how many people out there who are called doctors were failing them. And that was where I was for a few years. Now, I proceeded to leave that health food store. It was a mutual split, and I worked in some other areas of the healthcare industry. I worked for a chiropractor, I worked at a gym, personal training, strength coaching. So I was just trying to do things that would help people heal, that would help them really find a knowledge of the self, know themselves, know how their body moves, how it operates, how to keep it detoxified, keep it healthy. But it was very difficult because personal training, working at a health food store, these things, you're only helping one person at a time. And not only that, but I just couldn't work for people. I was working at, I'd only ever worked for small businesses. I'd never worked for a corporation over 12 people, but I still couldn't, I just couldn't take orders. That wasn't me. Being told what to say, you don't tell me, but I can't say. That's why a lot of conferences don't invite me. That's why I do the internet. So the internet doesn't like most of that. But I got to a point where I was personal training. I had maybe 2-3 clients a week. And I remember one day I missed a session. Now, I've always been pretty on the ball, but I totally blanked this session I had with somebody because I was hardcore researching. And towards the middle to the end of 2016, that researching went from researching to sharing, you see, because throughout those 3 or 4 years I was working in the healthcare realm, I was also ostracizing from all the relationships I had because of that awakening experience. So, of course, family, dad, brother, mom, cousins, family outside of that, they started thinking I was nuts, so I didn't have them. My friends definitely thought I was nuts, so there was only very few of them I had. My relationships, my personal relationships, started pulling away as well. The girlfriend I had. And so that was a very interesting, difficult situation to go through, and she ended up leaving me for various reasons. Her thinking I was crazy was one of them. And I proceeded to go through a few years there, like I said, of my outlet was basically trying to help people feel better. And that was the only outlet I had. And I would go home and not have anyone to talk to, so I just research. And I would just study stuff. And see my son sometimes not. But funny enough, the times I don't see him, I get to work. So I was on social media quite a bit. I was on Instagram and Facebook. It was cathartic. It was cathartic to me to just rant about the world and put pieces of information together. And I would do it as legitimate as I could. Mind you, I wasn't a journalist, but I was always trying to source the information and make it sound legitimate to me because I wanted them to wake up. So I was making Instagram posts and I was making Facebook posts. Of course, they were getting 1 like, maybe, myself. And proceeded to just, like I said, I wasn't invested in my jobs anymore, and I missed that session with the person because I was just studying, and my boss was just like, this isn't going to work out, is it? No, it's not going to work out. So again, there's another mutual split, and I just began, okay, I'm gonna write. I'm gonna be some sort of individual that gets information out there, however that's gonna be. That was at the time, at the end of 2016, where, and again, this is another catalyzing thing, that I just felt like once this came out, I need to get into sharing information, and that was the WikiLeaks emails. That was at the end of 2016, so in October 2016, those WikiLeaks emails came out. And funny enough, all that pizza stuff in them, I didn't even realize at first. It took me a few weeks, a couple months or two to see that. All the ETI, all the ZEE, the extraterrestrial intelligence and zero-point energy information, those WikiLeaks emails, that's what enthralled me. Like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this stuff. And that was the same time a lot of that Antarctica information began coming out as well. So that's how the YouTube channel started. And the name, it was just, we were just shooting these back and forth. Destroying the illusion? Okay, that sounds good. I mean, it's just funny to me how randomly it all came into being. But that's what started it. And I started the YouTube channel in November of 2016 there. And I finally uploaded my video right after I finally quit all my jobs in January 2017, January of last year. And we now get into September, October of last year, and this is where things start getting fun. Yeah, it's getting fun. A few weeks after that, we had a particular letter of the alphabet pop onto the scene. And this was, October 20th or 29th? 28th. Some of the first posts are a little kind of odd, and then Q started coming up.